People trust our voice, and when our talent, male or female, endorses something, our fans buy that. And that is the reason that we move your product. It is Thursday, September 15th. Last night was our Upfront. We had it at Webster Hall. Big night for us. It's our biggest B2B, which means our business to business. It's our biggest business to business night of the year. Today we have this episode. We have Matt Berger. Matt Berger is our new head of sales. He joins us today. We also do Q&A. We're going to talk a little bit about presentation skills and what it takes to give a great presentation. We'll do closing thoughts. We'll talk a little bit about the announcements we had coming out last night for Barstool. And that'll do us. That's about it for today. All right, so before I get into it, let's talk about Rhoback. I love Rhoback. I'm trying to work out again. I went for a run last night. I am endeavoring to go for a run today. I love to wear my Rhoback crop top. I guess you would call it like a performance shirt. I don't know. My like non-sweaty, smell-resistant shirt from Rhoback. Super high quality. I love the little stripes in the back. If you like dogs, dogs are the Rhoback logo. What's awesome about Rhoback is it's founded by 3 young startup entrepreneurs. They've built a great clothing business. They have a very recognizable brand. I get on the train and I see people wearing Rhoback and I'm like, oh, you're a Barstool fan. If you're a woman, you want to get workout clothes, you want to pull over, you want you really want any type of performance wear, Rhoback is a great brand for you. So if you go to rhoback.com, you can get 20% off your first order if you use the code TOKEN. That's 20% off all Q-zips, hoodies, and performance wear with code TOKEN on rhoback.com. All right, so let's just talk about our Upfront. So I think in most every business, some businesses it manifests as a trade show. Other businesses, this happens as an Upfront, or in the internet, we used to call it the New Front. We started the New Front. Digitas actually is an ad agency I worked at. They started the New Front way back in the day to get advertisers to trust online video, which just shows you the dark ages of the internet that I come from. But what's really amazing about an Upfront is that it just gives, it used to give big television networks, so whether they were cable networks or broadcast networks, and now it gives a bunch of internet companies, YouTube, Facebook, people like us, it gives the opportunity to showcase everything a company is capable of, all their new programming, all their personalities, what the company stands for, what their brand is like, and most importantly, why advertisers should trust their brand with our brand. So last night was our Upfront. It's a huge undertaking. We have an awesome team that worked on it. So shout out to Rob Langevin and Tom Boland and Kate and all of the editors and the sizzle reel people and the marketing people. Everyone did an awesome job in pulling it off. So I'm just hugely proud and honestly just really grateful. The Upfront's important to us because we're making a big pitch for ad dollars in the months and the years to come. That's important for a couple reasons. One is we want to give our best partners the best inventory on Barstool Sports. 2, we want to showcase the depth and the breadth of our content and our opportunities. And 3, we want to really showcase how deeply creative and innovative Barstool can be. So I'm super proud and just kind of in awe of just everyone on this team and the things that they can create. The reason this is important for us is we're going into the 20th year of Barstool Sports. I think there are really very few publishers left. Like when in the early 2000s or in even the teens, you would see a lot of publishers. There was Huffington Post, there were all sorts of blogs, there were all sorts of brands, and really most publishers have gone by the wayside. One, their lunch was eaten by Facebook and Google. All the ad dollars went to Facebook and Google, and it was hard for publishers to stay independent and or make money. And then the second thing is that one of the biggest disappointments, I think, in media is how very little media has innovated. I think one of the hardest things is when you make all of your money from cable subscribers, or you make all of your money from network contracts, or really doesn't matter. If you make all of your money and it's a lot of money. It's from one source, it's very hard to change and evolve your business. And that's one of the biggest things that I think sets Barstool Sports apart is we never had any money. So we weren't afraid to try a whole bunch of new things and a whole bunch of different ways to grow audience. We always trusted finding the audience first and making money second, which didn't hamper our growth on new platforms. And that is what has, catapulted us really from a company that had, 5 million monthly uniques on a blog to over 100 million followers on every single platform imaginable. So I'm excited about that. I think when you think about the advertising business, advertisers are really looking for two things. They're looking for reach. So they want to have people aware of their product. People used to buy television to get reach. I think the internet is the biggest, most broad, most fathomable reach vehicle possible. So advertisers wanted reach, or they wanted conversion. They want people to put in code token for 20% off a Rhoback polo. We give advertisers the chance to do both. Berger and I talk about this in our interview in just a second. But the reason that's important is as we walk into a recession or as we see the uncertainty in the ad market, advertisers are really having to make tough choices about where to put their dollars. The dollars that create conversation and awareness are super important, as well as the dollars that get people to purchase your product. And so the theme for our Upfront was we move product, because that's exactly what we do. We move our product, which is our brands, our personalities, and our content, and we move our partners' products. So that's Chevy trucks, that's Dude wipes, that's Rhoback, that's Verizon, that's Mattress Firm, that's all different types of brands who work with us to, one, make sure their product is top of mind, and two, to make sure that people buy it. And I would argue that there is no company that does that the way we do it. All right, so on that note, let's hand it to Matt Berger. So what I really have appreciated about Matt Berger coming to Barstool is just how much energy he's brought to the table and how much focus and positivity. He's really been a huge breath of fresh air for us. One, he's just the consummate seller, which I appreciate. I think one thing it's hard when you've been at a job for a long time where people start to get kind of itchy or kind of bored and they want something different than their core job. What's been so unbelievably refreshing about Berger is he wants to go talk to customers. He wants to go see people. He wants to sell our product. He wants to hit the number. He wants to see people put their brands with Barstool Sports and for that to work. And it's just been really clear. It's been very... it's earnest in a way. I think the way he's really rallied our sales team is incredible. I think his focus is very simple. Hiring Berger really reminded me of the difference that one person can make and the impact that one person can have, especially when you know your job, you know how to do it, you know how to inspire other people to follow you, and you have clarity and excitement and enthusiasm for that job, not for the next job or the adjacent job to your job. What I really love about Berger, he's clearly in his wheelhouse spot. And I think that's great for him to have visibility, and I think it's great for us to have a leader with that type of focus and positivity and energy. And I think it's been great for us. I think it's been great for our sales team. I hope it's been great for our partners, and if it hasn't yet, I think it will be. So without further ado, that was a huge preamble. We'll bring it to Matt Berger. All right, Matt Berger.
All right, let's do this.
Give people the Matt Berger pitch.
What do you want to know?
Who is Matt Berger?
Who is Matt Berger? Jersey Shore guy.
Okay.
We laugh because I went to the same high school as Situation.
Oh, you did?
Who was here last week.
Okay.
And so
are you the same age as a Situation?
No, I'm 2 years younger than a Situation. Not to make you feel.
I'm so old.
Okay.
All right, same high school as a Situation.
Same high school as a Situation. That's like my opening line in sales meetings. So I'm like, where are you from? Where are you this?
Oh, really? That's your icebreaker?
I'm from Jersey Shore. Like, everyone's like, where Jersey Shore? I'm like, same town as the Situation.
Okay.
And
that gets a chuckle out of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets chuckle out of people, but like, I own Jersey. I own like being from Jersey.
Okay,
right?
yeah. You're
love
like,
it,
most Jersey people are like that.
Yeah, totally. It's like you have pride in Boston. It's like you have
Yeah.
pride. People from Boston love being from Boston.
Yeah.
I love being from Jersey.
Okay, great.
Right? Went to Cuse. Spent 4 great years in Cuse. National championship.
Nobody cares.
basketball.
Keep going.
No one
Yep.
cares.
How'd you get into sales?
Started in Cuse. Started my own company.
Okay.
Discount card to bars and restaurants
Okay.
in Syracuse.
Okay.
And then got all the fraternities on board to sell it.
Okay.
And then at the time I was a hiring manager for Abercrombie and Hollister and got them to sell it.
Okay.
And then I wound up selling the business and coming to New York.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
I sold TVs and elevators, Captivate. And
Oh, you were a Captivate sales guy.
I was a Captivate sales guy.
I remember when Captivate came to me. It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Sold TVs and elevators. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, I got to go big. I got to like think big.
Okay.
So work at a big company. Went to the Mousetrap.
Okay.
Worked at Disney for 3 years.
Okay.
And then you talked about this previously. Like you always need that one person in life who navigates your career for you.
Yep.
And helps you. I had this guy's name, John Diamond. Like he's now CRO of Turner Sports.
Okay.
And he was like, he helped shape my entire career.
John Diamond was your guy.
He was my guy. Like he's still my guy.
Still your guy?
He's my guy. I met with him. He's like, Matt, like get out of like the
elevator sales.
He was in like TV. He's like, Matt, TV's not where it's at. He's like, go to digital.
Okay.
He's like, this is when digital was like booming, right?
Yep.
So I wound up at IAC and I was at College Humor.
Yep.
So started at College Humor. That's like sold a lot there. Then got into management. I'm like, I love managing people.
Yep.
Like my goal at College Humor when I finally took over the team was like, how do you make College Humor brand safe?
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
this was
boy,
like,
here we go.
This was like
Berger brand safety.
Matt Berger brand safe. It's like
okay.
13 years ago, like College Humor was not brand safe.
Completely.
Right. Yeah. Like the Unilever's like, oh, I'm so scared to get to this. Right. Now it's like, you know, we were able to tell a story and craft a narrative of like, how do you create brand safety for someone? And then we were able to get Coca-Cola, like all the big boys, big blue chip brands on board.
Okay. I love it.
Right. Which is huge. So
okay, stop right there. Yeah. So in your career, like what I love about you is like I think you're just a great consummate salesperson. I love that. I talk about you at home all the time. And
I appreciate
I'm like,
that.
you know what? Matt Berger's like, I got a suite for the Jets to entertain clients. And I'm like, you're never gonna fucking see me at the Jets. But you love it. Like you love to sell to people. You like people. You like managing people. So what are the biggest things you learned? What do you think makes a great salesperson? And what are the things you hold dear?
Best, you keep saying selling. I think the best like attribute you can have as a seller is being able to listen.
Yep.
Like if you I can sell you all day long whatever you want.
Yep.
But if I don't know what your challenge is,
it's useless.
How do I know what to sell you, right?
Yep.
So like I need to figure out like how to get what I need from you in order to then give you something you want.
Yep.
Like that's the key to sales.
Okay.
Right? And that's what like the people upstairs and on my team like have to be able to do. A, we have to get out with clients. B, we have to listen to what our clients' needs are. And then C, how do we come up with something like that's amazing because we know we're going to work and move product.
Yep.
How do we come up with what that solution actually looks like in order to move that product?
Okay, great. So you go to college, you work at Disney, then you go to College Humor.
Yep.
Then you go to Bleacher.
Yep.
Crushing it. Everyone loves you. Awesome. You wrote us in when? 2016? 2017?
When I left College Humor, I was going to go work at Whistle Sports.
Okay.
And at the time I knew...
Was Deirdre at Whistle Sports
Deirdre
at the time?
had just left Whistle to come here. And I knew that, like, and then Ian Schaefer knew you, who's a friend of both of ours, introduced me to you.
Yes,
you introduced me to Deirdre. I almost came here, like, because we were trying to find a role here at work.
Yep.
At the same time, Bleacher Report was like in the mix as well. I had a friend over there, and I started talking to them. And when you're like, "Look, we want you, but there's not
we don't
kind
have
of
a
like,
role for you right
not
now.
like we're not big enough where we need like a someone right underneath Deirdre." And so I wound up at Bleacher Report, where I ran House of Highlights on the sales side, which was such an amazing experience in itself. But then the funny part was, I remember to this day, this was like back in April or May when Deirdre had, the article came out that Deirdre's CEO.
Uh-huh.
One of our West Coast VPs emailed me or texted me, like we were on like this huge management call. He's like, "Do you see this?" Yada, yada. It was like, the news that Deirdre was leaving. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, this is it. Like, this is my, I was like, this is my time. Like, this is it, right? So I go right to my computer. I go, "What's Erika Nardini's email address?" I email Erika Nardini. Literally, I email her.
Yep.
Right? I don't get a response from Erika Nardini. Crushing to my soul.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I met Erika 3 or 4 years ago. Like, she's gonna write me back. I'm telling myself all this, and then like I don't get it.
I'm sorry, Berger.
But you know, you're in sales. Like the old saying is totally true. Like your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Right. And so like your network is how you make money, but like that's how you get jobs.
Yeah.
So like I had known Deirdre.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Deirdre. I'm like, congratulations. I want to hear more. Like, how can I help you? Like, I was like, sounded cool. I might even like want to potentially like work with you and yada, yada, yada. And she was like, I think you'd actually do really good at Barstool. She's like, do you want me to like put you in the queue there and like get you to front of the line? I'm like, that would be amazing because Erika doesn't write me back. And then literally I came in and it was just like blown away with like all of the people here. And look, I think the product sells itself, but it's a very unique sell.
Yeah.
Right? Where like this is not a Bleacher Report with IP rights and things like that. Like your rights are your 110 personalities that we have here with the 80 something products that we have, right? Like that's why people love Barstool, right? Is like we have this relationship with our consumers
that nobody has.
Right? Like you can literally go tell a consumer to do something and they will do it. And that is single-handedly probably, in my opinion, the most like important thing in advertising.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
That's
because like we're heading into potentially like who knows where we're going right now with like a recession looming and things like that. But like you look at where Barstool is, top of funnel, bottom of funnel, right? You go to an advertiser and like, look, we know you're cutting back on funds like from spending next year and things like that. Like, how about you give money to a publisher or a brand that actually understands that we're very big at brand awareness, top of funnel, and at the bottom of funnel, we can actually move your product.
Yeah, we can convert.
We can actually convert that brand awareness in which name one other brand that can actually do that.
Completely.
And I feel bad coming from, a big brand at Bleacher Report, but you know what? Bleacher Report was not a brand that could actually move that product. And
well, it's also like totally agree. Like the internet eats the middleman, right? Like, so you've got to be great at top of funnel and you've got to convert. Anything in the middle, like I think Bleacher's a little bit in the middle of being the shithead about it, but like I think most publishers are in the middle, which is the problem.
Right.
Facebook is good at bottom of the funnel. TV has historically been great at top of funnel. We're trying to do both.
100%. And when you look at, like, nothing tells me more, like, it's such a clear indicator than merch.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, when you look at the industry at large, I think Overtime does a really good job with merch. Like, I'd go on spring break and see kids wearing Overtime shirts. Like, I never really saw that with Bleacher. That wasn't, like, a priority for their business. But, like, you come here, it's, like, unavoidable. Like, it's everywhere you go, you start to see, and it becomes almost like a fraternity or sorority, right? It's like you're wearing Chicks in the Office merch and like, you're like
the hat
tip to the person next to you. Like I stop people in malls. I literally stop people everywhere. People stop me because I told my wife, I'm like, we're cleaning out the closets. We're literally just going with merch from Barstool, and we're moving forward. Like, and literally, it's like my whole closet now.
Okay, so speaking of, one of the things I like about you is you have like some old school sales guy rants. So like, give a couple of your rants. Like the other day, came into work, and you're on a rant about shorts. So like, give people the short story.
I came in my first week, which was like a month ago at this time.
Yeah, it's about 2 years ago.
Literally,
right?
It feels like 2 years ago, but it was a month ago. And I'm like seeing people. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? We got tons of people wearing shorts, t-shirts, flip-flops. Salespeople. I was like, all right. My head literally felt like I had congestion, like out my, like literally, it blew up. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, salespeople wearing shorts. Like, what if they have a meeting? At least show your boss that you potentially have a meeting. Like, don't wear shorts.
So Berger is basically like, if salespeople are wearing shorts, you don't have a fucking meeting.
It was
like, nothing says I don't have any clients to talk to than a salesperson wearing shorts. I thought that was good advice. I'm like, that's a good
tells
perspective.
me or you like, and I call them all in the room in like my like orientation. I had this like huge speech out the goat. I've been writing for a month. Like ever since I found that I got the job. I'm like, here's how I'm going to come in, like, and then like I completely like changed the speech like day 2 because I see all these people wearing shorts. I'm like, this has got to make the speech like, expectations moving forward and like
forget the inspiration.
Yeah, forget the
just
inspiration.
Dress like you're going to talk to a customer.
Dress like you're capable of talking to a customer is like the speech, right? It's like
it is.
So I came in, I was like, look, here's the expectations, like. I'm not a micromanager at all. It's just like I let people do what they do, and I just want to help. Like my biggest skill set is like getting people in the door with people because like of my network, right? And like, you know, I learned so much at Bleacher with the people I had at House of Highlights. So many great people that taught me so much about running an actual business. But also at the same time, it's like now that I have my business sense about me, it's like, all right, let's actually sell shit. Right?
That's
like,
right.
That's why I came here, because I finally felt ready to actually, and you accepted me here, which was great, to take on this responsibility. It's a huge responsibility with the weight of 110 talents downstairs, all asking like, sell my show. Why isn't my show selling or something like that? And I embrace it head on.
Okay, so then flash forward to the Blazers. So Berger shows up today wearing a blazer, and everybody, including me, is like, "Wow, Berger, you're wearing a blazer today."
I showed up week 1 wearing a blazer like every day, and then there were like bets on like was I going to wear a blazer? It was 100 degrees outside, and like of course like you wear a blazer, you set
sales guys wear
like
blazers.
if I wear shorts like the first day, then everyone's wearing shorts at that point on. Like,
you think our sales team owns blazers?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Same.
Maybe if you.
What percentage of our sales team do you think owns a blazer? I think all the girls do. I think all the women do.
I think the women do. I do.
I'm giving like 32% of the guys.
I'm thinking it's more for like weddings and funerals, why they actually own nice things versus work.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think we should definitely do a spiff. Like we do spiffs, obviously, to entice
Explain what a
salespeople.
spiff is.
A spiff is if we really want to sell something that like for said product, then we put what's called a spiff in place that says if you sell this, you get
an extra
$2,500 extra or $500 extra, whatever it could be. It's just
we're going to have a blazer spiff?
We're going to have, I found a guy, it was literally in the most Berger story ever, was on a plane to Miami for Super Bowl, guy sitting next to me, fashion designer for all these NFL players. We've become really good friends. Like
You will talk to anyone.
I
legitimately,
will really talk to
I feel
anyone,
like.
legitimately.
Okay.
I was saying, we got friends. He's like a fashion guy for like all NFL players, does suits and everything. We start talking pretty upfront. I'm like, I need a suit. He goes, I got you. He did my suit for the Upfront.
Does it have something fun on it, or is it
it's going to have the inside of it. I'll show you. It's going to be.
Oh, that's so fun, Berger. Great job. I love this.
So this will be.
You're right. People don't dress for work.
People don't dress for work.
That's too bad.
So
did you like clock? Okay, so keep going.
We're going to have a spiff in place, and he does women's and he does men's. Like, look, let's put a spiff. And there's nothing like getting measured for like when I put the suit on, like I'm a big guy, suits don't necessarily fit me off the rack like where they should. So like when he measured like 80 different measurements, I put on the suit, it literally was like
you're like feel like $1 million.
This was made for my body. Like,
I love that.
It was amazing. And like if salespeople upstairs actually had that feeling of like the same feeling that I had when I put that suit on, I was like, wow. Like I want to go. I want to go meet the CMO and P&G and like in this suit and literally pitch them something. Because if I feel like $1 million, I'm gonna talk like
I'm all about this. What are other things, the simple things like that you hold true? Like my thing is, if you're a salesperson, you got to start the meeting on time. Yeah. The presentation has to be preloaded. I don't want to see your fucking kids on the computer. Like I just want the presentation up and loaded. You have to be able to work the tech. You have to have a notebook and a pen. Yep. What are your things like that?
I have pet peeves like that. Like you're 100% right.
Are you gonna
it's
share
like
them?
just literally come with your everything prepared, like you said. But get to the point. Like I teach them upstairs, which my old boss taught me. Like get to the fucking no is like with a client. It's like the faster you get to a no, the faster you can get to a yes somewhere else. But like get to the point. Like what are you trying to do? Like small talk's great for the first minute, but like I've been in meetings where you have a half hour and like 22 minutes of small talk of like your kids and family. It's like, talk. All right, you get in there. You can. How was your weekend? Great. Here's why I'm here to talk to you today. Right? What's your like? For me, it's all about preparation. It's like before you get in the room, how are you preparing for being in the room? Like when I came to you and interview with you for the second time.
Yeah, you were prepped.
In which you forgot the first time. Maybe you forgot.
No, I didn't. I remembered.
You remember. All right, when I came with you the second time, like I knew what kind of coffee you liked. I knew like all the things that had been said on Token about you. And I've always been a personal fan of yours. But like, so I've known more about you than I would the average person. But I knew enough to come in and like actually show that I cared
that's true.
About who you were personally and your achievements that you've had here at Barstool.
But more importantly, you showed that you knew about the business. Like we move product is our theme for the Upfront. Our Upfront was last night. you said that, like you captured that well. It was so interesting when we were interviewing for your role. It was you and we had this other candidate, and the other candidate's attitude was like, hey, yeah, sure, I could do that job. Like, yeah, sure, I could sell that. But it was casual, and the person almost seemed more enamored of the situation at their current company versus excited and leaning forward about the opportunity at this company. I think you did that. I think that's contagious.
Yeah, and look, I loved where I came from. I could have stayed there forever.
Yeah.
The people at House of Highlights, Omar, we talked about that. Doug, like, all those
Good
people, amazing people. Like family.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing. I use some of those lines that I learned at House of Highlights. Like you literally don't have to love you don't have to like everybody, but you literally have to root for everyone in a room, right?
Yep.
Like that was the first thing I said. When I rallied the troops, I'm like, look, everyone here might not like each other, but you have to root for one another.
Yeah.
You have to open a door for one another. You have to do the things that like to share and care that you're actually a family.
Yeah.
We're a family here. No matter who it is.
Yeah, no matter what anybody says about it.
No matter what anybody says, for better or worse, when things go wrong, we're a family.
Yeah.
Right? And it's important. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot of that,
That's great.
So I brought that here.
What were your biggest observations? What surprised you coming into Barstool?
What surprised me is how many fucking big deals we've had. Like here. Like the funnel here, and like the amount, the fact that Barstool's able to do an upfront. Like I came from worlds like Berger never did an upfront. Berger never did those things, right? And like here it's and we were part of upfronts in just because of the linear side.
Sure.
But like there wasn't a special. I knew how to run an upfront just from being there. But like the reality was like there wasn't a special.
There wasn't their own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, take bits and pieces and go to linear with it. But like here it's like, you have so many clients spending millions of dollars with us. 92% of brands who spend with Barstool Sports repeat.
Yeah, that's amazing stats.
Tell me where that exists, and that it's because it works, right? Because
that's right.
Like when you have these smaller brands that spend a lot of money with you, it's clear and obvious. It's because you're moving product for them.
Yeah,
and they can calculate the investment with you yields X amount of dollars moved. Yeah, because they're not spending with anybody else.
Right.
That's the reality.
That's the secret sauce.
That's the secret sauce with Barstool.
Let's talk a little bit about brand safety, Berger. You and I love to talk about brand safety.
Yeah.
So
we don't butt heads over brand safety, right?
We're on the same team. We're a family. Okay. We're a family of brand safety. Yeah. I sometimes think that brand safety is bullshit, which I know you won't want me to say here, but
that's fine.
The fact that I think you said it best, actually, which is, so in the ad, for anybody listening to this, like in the ad business, brand safety is a phrase that just gets thrown around a lot.
100%.
And I think that brand safety means, am I comfortable putting my brand adjacent to your brand? Like that, at the end of the day, is like, am I comfortable paying to put myself next to you, or brand X next to brand Y? What you've really educated me on is that the whole notion of brand safety is, look, brands don't want to be around violence. Brands don't want to be around bad news. Brands don't want to be around tragedy. Brands don't want to be around catastrophe. Some brands are family friendly. They don't want to be around swearing.
Yep.
We struggle because where I get critical of brand safety is I feel like people lob the word brand safety when it's just laziness. And it's like, look, I don't want to fight that hard to advertise with you. Yeah. So what do you think about brand safety?
Look, brand safety is not bullshit. It's right to the camera. Speak right to the camera on that one. Reality is, look, different strokes for different folks. Like at the end of the day, it's like you have to know who your core client is and what the value you bring to your client, right? Yep. Like in order for us to scale this business efficiently and effectively, and to the numbers in which you are asking of me for the future. I am
asking you for those numbers.
For big numbers in the future, and same with Penn, right? Like we want to do this for Penn, right? The reality is, like, we have to be hyper aware of what brand safety is and what brand safety means to a client, right? Like, you go, like my expertise and my biggest client in life is Coca-Cola, right? When you look at Coca-Cola, you think polar bears from Super Bowl commercials and things like that, right? It's like family-oriented brand, right? It's like, so I went through this at College Humor. It's like, how are we going to make Coca-Cola feel right? That by them giving us dollars, we're putting them in a very safe place in which their average consumer at home, which is family,
is going to have a positive perception.
Is going to have a positive perception of what they just watched, right? And so what we have to do is, I think it's pretty simple for the most part, but it's harder to actually get out into like an actual plan, but simple to think about, right? It's like you put all your content in a bucket that we know is not brand safe. That's bucket A, and we don't push that on brand safe advertisers. And then bucket B is somewhere in the middle of like, it can fall either way, but because we film most stuff ahead of time, we can edit out things
we have protocols and
we have protocols.
Measures.
It's not live TV that if someone says a swear word, like, oh my God, like
it's
the
over.
brand's gonna,
there's no hot mic.
There's no hot mic, right? And then there's like C, which is like completely
home
brand
run.
safe. It's like home run, no problem. And then you leverage tools like paid social and things like that and put it in the world with adjacent audiences and things like that. That makes sense. Like, that's how you can hit a home run with brand safe content, right? It's like you find these suitable content, right? And then you pair the content with the actual distribution that you know is also brand safe, because the stuff that's running on Facebook and Instagram and things like that has to go through those filters as well.
Right. That's
and so so advertisers are comfortable paying, being on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So it goes through that filter.
Okay, got it.
Right? So I think for us, it's about looking at the buckets and then also figuring out the distribution.
Yeah,
because once we figure out that distribution, it'll be a home run at least
for everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And then most importantly, we can still do the things we want to do. Like, it's okay. We're not going to turn our whole business brand safe. We're all not going to allow that, right? We get that, right? But like, there's going to be a good amount of stuff within Barstool Sports that can be brand safe.
Most of Barstool's stuff is brand safe. So I think there's like this. I'm interested in this conversation of like, what is brand safety, right? Like, and it's funny because I'm with you. I think 85% of our stuff is pretty brand safe.
I agree.
I think 15% of it is like the Kevin Clancy factor of like, he just is going to go off the rails fairly regularly, and that's fine. Dave gets in a rant every once in a while or gets caught up in a news story. That's fine. And then sometimes everybody else just descends into madness, but for the most part, like, there's a lot of integrity with how we make our content. There's a lot of thought. We want to be sure it has appeal to the audience. I think the other thing about brand safety that we have to do a better job of is, to your point on the renewals, that 92% of the brands that work with us renew is an insane stat. I also want to show like that fans who watch our content have a more positive impression of a brand by virtue of their endorsement. So you're endorsing Alex and Jordan and Mean Girls. Sometimes they talk about sex, sometimes they talk about relationships, sometimes they talk about their bodies, but by virtue of advertising with them, there's an affinity and a positive halo effect. 100%. And I think we have to do a better job.
And by the way, it's not just that 92% of our advertisers are actually coming back. I mean, you said this upfront, right? Like, 27 out of that, we're getting a 27% increase.
Right, they're coming back and spending
They're not
more.
Just spending the same exact money. They're like, okay, we know this is working.
Yeah.
Let's double down on this, spend more money. And that's how we're able to actually grow a business, right? Because like, we're showing brands that we can move product and we actually care about.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's
like,
right.
That's huge.
That's great. Who's your favorite person here?
I love Alex Bennett. Like, I really.
Oh, really? You're a big Alex Bennett guy?
Huge. Like, I just talk to her and she's like so nice.
Yeah, she's
like
Oklahoma.
I see her all the time, and like, she's so like warm and like, I don't know. Like, I never thought that would be like someone, like, I thought it'd be someone from a business side, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see her, it's just warmth.
Oh, that's nice.
And like, I've turned my wife into a Mean Girl podcast. Like,
well,
fan.
There you go.
Like, my wife is like lawyer conservative, and like,
okay.
She's like, shut this shit off, like, immediately. Like, I had it on.
Why are you wasting your time?
She's like, shut this shit off. And then she like hit a topic that my wife cared about. She's like, this is interesting. I was like,
that's
yes.
Great.
I was like, we're converting.
Click, download, subscribe, rate, review.
Exactly.
Mrs. Berger.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some great, at the end of the day, look, I've met some tremendous people here. There's so many good people. Like, I love working with every single person. Like, having you as a mentor and a boss is like, I've wanted this ever since the day I've met you.
That's awesome.
And that's why I like did everything possible to
I know.
get back
I'm learning a lot from you, Berger. I talk about you a lot at home. It's so funny.
And I talk.
I'm a Berger
My
fan.
mom like watches this.
She's going to watch this right now.
No, not only is she going to watch this, but like, she watches this every week now. She's like, I love your boss. She's great.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
so nice.
Yeah, she's like.
Does she live in Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey. Yeah.
Does everybody live in Jersey? Does your sister live in Jersey?
Sister lives in Jersey.
Everybody's in
She's
Jersey.
in the industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all the Berger family lives in Jersey.
There
and we're
we
all
go.
salespeople.
Obviously.
We're all salespeople, and sitting at dinner is like the most, because obviously I talk.
Yeah.
Like no one can get a word in it.
I bet. Who's the loudest? Like, where are you?
My
in
mom
this?
and sister are the loudest.
Really?
They're so.
Are you the baby?
I'm the baby.
Yeah.
I sit quiet at dinner.
Okay.
I can't get a word in at dinner in my own house.
Is your wife like, oh my God?
And my wife's like the quiet conservative lawyer who like literally
like, how'd I end up here?
Like, I just remember taking her to our first family dinner. She's like, what the fuck did I just get myself into with this family? Like, she couldn't say a word.
That's great.
Because my mom's the kind of person
like the We Are the Burgers.
My mom literally is the kind of person that asks my wife a question the first time she meets her and then doesn't let her answer the question.
She's like, I don't even care.
Because she's like, I don't care. I'm just going to keep talking about what you do.
Okay, so tell people what's next. What's next for our sales team?
So, look, we have to get after it. We have an aggressive number for the upfront.
Yep.
We have to be out with our clients.
Yeah.
Like every client
that's
listening.
Favorite. This is another
like,
burger thing I like.
I will, like, if there's a client that's listening that should be working with Barstool and has not heard from a Barstool rep, come to me directly.
Or just DM me.
Literally
like
DM me, come to me directly. Only because, like, I told our team the expectation is, like, you are everywhere.
Yeah.
You have your set account list, and if you are not talking to those accounts, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So that's what's next. The relationship building of, like, making brands feel comfortable with, who's at Barstool.
Yeah.
And then next will be the content that comes along with Barstool.
That's great.
I think that's, like, the immediate next step here.
That's great. And what do you see happening in the industry? Like, the Warner salespeople are all getting laid off. Like, what do you see happening?
Disney,
is it a wasteland?
Warner Media, like it's going to be there's going to be turbulence in the industry the next like 3 to 6 months, in my opinion, if not longer, right? Which is why, like, I always want to take things back to why Barstool, but like why Barstools? Because when thinking about it, it's like we move product, and like we should be the last one cut from a media plan, because if you're a media buyer, you literally should be caring about moving product. And if you care about moving product, you should care about top of funnel, bottom of funnel, because you can get both from Barstool. Therefore, in a time like this where there's turbulence, you give your money to Barstool. Yeah, because it works. Because you know we're going to work. Yeah. And that's like my ultimate plea to advertisers, right? It's like, think about that when you're trying to cut $5 million from your budget and say, I still need to figure out the gap for $5 million. All right, give Barstool money here, and let's figure out how we're going to move product, because then you can go to your boss and be like, we move product by also trimming $5 million of budget.
Thank you, Matt Berger. That was great. I loved it. All right, that was Matt Berger. If you want to find your own Matt Berger, you should try Justworks. So Justworks is a simple software and expert support platform for payroll, benefits, HR, and compliance. With Justworks, you can onboard new employees just like Matt Berger with ease in an intuitive online platform. You can take the guesswork out of employment and tax regulations and requirements. Amen to that. You can access national health plans so that your employees can get coverage no matter where they live. And you, as the employer, can get help setting up sick leave policies and administering harassment and discrimination prevention trainings that comply with both state and local requirements. You can find out how Justworks can help you by going to justworks.com for more information. We talked at the top of the episode about presentation, how the Upfront is a huge presentation for us. We will round this episode out with our speech, with Dave and my speech from the Upfront, as well as some tips on presentation and public speaking. Before that, though, let's do Q&A. So the first Q&A is, what differentiates a topic needing to be addressed in a meeting in a conversational type format versus a formal presentation? What makes you decide you need to stand up and separate yourself from the group and present, quote unquote, versus presenting an idea and creating a more collaborative conversation around the topic? All right, this is a great question. I always think it's so awkward to get up and present to people. I feel like that's something men do, less so women. I always felt so awkward. I'd be like, my skirt's a little bit too short, and it's just awkward to stand while everybody's sitting around. So I'm more in favor, if you want to get something done, if you're working with a set of peers, if you're working inside of your company with people you're familiar with, I think the best way to do things is to have, a very focused conversation, but a collaborative conversation that happens around a table or across a room. Now, that said, there are instances where you need to present, right? When I go see the pen board, sometimes it's collaborative conversation, but it has a degree of formality. I don't know these people that well. They certainly don't know me. And so I want to put on a good show and a good face by giving a more formal presentation where, I would use slides or I would have a very organized talk track. I think the situation on when to be most formal is really dictated by how familiar you are with the people you're talking to. The less familiar you are, the more formal you should be. I don't think you necessarily need to stand up and present. Like, I can remember standing up in the front of a room. I had this one agency pitch where I was standing up in the front of the room and I had ordered this bright orange skirt off of eBay. And it was Dries Van Noten. I don't really know how to pronounce it. But, some hoity-toity agency exec was like, who makes your skirt? And I was like, oh, it's Dries Van Noten or something. And I clearly pronounced it wrong. It also was clearly counterfeit, like made in China, wasn't an authentic skirt. But I felt so stupid after I did that. The thing also didn't fit totally right, which just added to kind of the debacle. But if you are not familiar, if you're asking people for money, or if the decorum in the room or the culture, the attitude in the room is kind of formal, then it's best to either stand up and present and use slides, or you can sit down and present and use slides, but meet the moment with the formality it deserves. Having a conversation with your peers to solve a problem, I think a presentation format there doesn't make any sense. It's actually kind of off-putting. But if you're asking for money, if you're trying to convince people to invest in something, if you're looking to plead a case, or you're with a bunch of people you don't know, then it's perfectly appropriate to stand and present. All right, second question is, how do you encourage collaboration in a meeting? Sometimes I go up to present and ask questions and everyone just stares at me. That's annoying and kind of awkward. One thing I would do to create collaboration in a meeting is, if you're the leader of the meeting or if you have seniority, I think it's great to just ask a question and then say, hey, let's go around the room and give some feedback on the question, or give a simple answer to the question. Sometimes that exists like an icebreaker. You have to be careful about your tone of voice. You can't seem punitive. I think it's sometimes very hard when people present and their tone of voice or their attitude is kind of designed to make everyone feel stupid. I think when people do that, men do that in particular, I find it just kind of shuts everybody up and it makes everybody feel silent. So I think so long as you go into the presentation or you go into the conversation and you're like, hey, we're here to talk about X. My first big question, just to open things up, is, what does everybody think the biggest problem is around X? Or what does everyone think the biggest opportunity is around X? Or what's an experience you've had here that really showcases what we need to change or how we need to grow or what we need to do. Now, that last piece is a little long-winded, so you got to be sure you allow for enough time and you kind of calculate that when you're thinking about the icebreaker question. But I think by starting with a question and then you can call on people to start to answer, people typically fast follow. But you have to invite the collaboration, you have to model the collaboration, and you have to demonstrate, I think, a tone of voice and an inclination of, hey, we're collaborating with one another, we're talking openly with one another. This is a safe, non-punitive, non-judgmental conversation. And so long as you set that up, I think people will readily follow. Okay, so last question is, what's the best way to start a meeting or presentation? Should I make a joke, small talk, or just get right to the point? Ooh, I hate small talk. I just generally hate small talk. Sometimes I go into a meeting and I'm like, oh God, I got to ask people how their weekends were. And it's like, it's not that I don't care how people's weekends were. I just want to make the most of my time at work. And I'm excited and interested and ready to talk about work. And so I think when you're opening a meeting, if you don't know the people there, the first best thing to do is introduce yourself. So you're like, hey, I'm Erika. This is what I do for my day job. This is what I'm interested in. And this is why I'm excited for us to have this conversation. Sometimes a joke works. I tend to find jokes kind of cheesy. I think it's often better to be a little bit self-deprecating or to call out something that's like obviously awkward in the room. Everybody, for example, when a presentation's after lunch, everyone's like, ha ha ha, like I'm the guy after lunch. Like you can make the cheesy sales guy joke, but I honestly think the best thing to do is just get pretty straight to the point. Introduce yourself, say why you're qualified to have this conversation, and then go ahead and make your pitch or go ahead and state your case. And that will get you into the meat of what you're there and what everyone else is there to talk about. I also feel like that kind of helps you get over the nerves. Like when I'm getting ready for a presentation, I only memorize the first 3 things that I'm going to say. I'm like, okay, I remember the first 3 things I'm going to say. And then you kind of like get over being nervous and you get over being worried about how you're going to be received, and you can get right into the guts of a conversation. So I think the best, fastest route to getting into the guts of the conversation is the best way to approach a meeting. And it's different for every person, and you've got to figure out what the right approach is for you. Okay, I'm always losing my wallet. I leave it around. I'm like, it's in the bucket. What do you call the thing in between your seats in the car? Like the console.
Yeah.
I'm forever leaving everything in the console. And then I get like some Ring text alert that's like, every car in your neighborhood's been stolen. Like, don't leave your keys in your car. And I'm like, oh, not only are my keys in my car, but also my wallet's in my car. If I had a Ridge wallet, I would probably be better served. So the thing is basically indestructible. Great weight, like good heft, feels like it's quality made. It also can fit a zillion credit cards. You can put cash in here. It's very sleek. It's very thin. It can fit right in your pocket. I think it's great for guys or for girls. But what's awesome is they give you a lifetime guarantee because this thing is so well made. It even comes with a screwdriver. It's that well made. There are 30 different styles and colors. You can do carbon fiber, burnt titanium. It's like a Crayola box, like burnt umber. Remember burnt umber? I loved burnt umber. The other great thing about your Ridge wallet is it comes with RFID technology. So when you walk by sketchy people or sketchy technology systems and they're looking to zap your information from your credit card right through your wallet, Ridge wallet will prevent that from happening. Go to ridge.com, that's RIDGE.com, and use code Erika for 10% off your order. And for every dollar spent on the website between now and the end of the month, that's September 30th, you'll be entered to win a brand new upgraded Ford Bronco, or you can just get a cool $75,000 in cash. That's ridge.com, code Erika for 10% off. Okay, so before we let you go, we're going to talk a little bit about presentation skills and what I've learned it takes to make a great presentation. I'm not always great at presentation. I think I'm kind of long-winded, I'm rambly, like my ADD kicks in halfway through and then I'm like, what are we talking about? Or I get like super passionate and excited and I just want to talk about what I'm passionate and excited about. So those are my flaws in presenting. I also feel like another flaw that I have is like I'm trying to do too much and I don't have the time to study or focus or prepare and rehearse the way I'd like to. Our Upfront was last night, and I really started to work on my speech like Tuesday morning. Haven't even seen it, didn't see it come together until yesterday morning. Like that's probably not the best. So whenever possible, I think the good thing to understand in going into a presentation is what are you good at? What I'm good at is I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about. I'm experienced. I have things to share. I have lessons I've learned. I have a lot of ideas. I think I'm a good listener. I am convincing when I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. Those are my strengths. I just told you what my weaknesses are. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses in a presentation. So really work to what your strengths are and also be mindful of your weaknesses. I tend to talk too much, so I'm like, I can only ever say 3 things. That's just how I roll in a presentation. Other things that I think you can do in terms of tips for a great presentation is know your strengths and weaknesses, which we just covered. 2, know the materials on the slide. Inevitably, you are going to be in a meeting with some douchebag who's like, I'm going to make you look dumb on stage. It always happens, never fail. You're going to be in a meeting with somebody who's like, I'm going to get you and I'm going to make you look dumb. You have to know the information on your slides inside and out. Don't have a bunch of numbers on there that you don't understand. Don't have a bunch of statements on your slides that don't mean anything. Like, basically, don't create opportunities for people to poke holes in what you're saying. I think it's really important as a third tip to organize what you're talking about. Most people can't remember more than 3 things, is my experience. So have 3 things you want to say. You could say them differently. You can say them in different order, but really get to 3 main points that you want to convey. I also think it's really important. People like to know where they are in a presentation. Most everyone has ADD, or they're bored, or they're tired, or they're hungover, or they're itching to get to their next meeting, or they're starving for lunch. So setting up a presentation of, here's what I'm going to talk about, then you talk about it, and then you're like, that's what I just talked about. It helps people understand where they are, and I think it helps people be more patient with you. So the other thing I would say is, I remember I had a big presentation the first time I ever did the Yahoo sales conference. It was like this huge production. And I had a presentation on stage, and I had kind of created this like way too long preamble before I was getting to my points. But the other thing I did is I kind of like shifted foot to foot to foot to foot. I was like nervous. It was like a nervous tick. And I remember getting off stage, and Carol Bartz was like, Jesus, you like didn't stop moving your feet the entire fucking time. I literally think she said just that. And I was kind of gutted and like decimated. But then I was like, you know what? She's totally right. I had a nervous gesture, which was moving from foot to foot to foot to foot. You probably have nervous gestures too. So understand what your nervous gesture is and try to get past it. I try to hang on to something so I don't wiggle around so much. You may have other things, but understand, I think one of the great things is to, if you're giving a presentation and it's videotaped, watch it to see what annoys you about how you present and study it so that you can get better. Let your personality come through. It's okay to have personality. It's okay to say things your way. If you have an accent, embrace it. If you have a quirky personality, let it show through. People don't want robots. Watching a robot is boring. Listening to a robot is boring. People like people with character. People like authenticity. That was a huge theme for us last night in our Upfront. So let your authenticity, let your personality show through. I think the last thing is know your audience. If you're on stage, or you're giving a presentation, or you're in a boardroom and you're just talking to hear yourself speak, it's the fastest way to lose an audience. So keep in mind what the people are in the room for, what they want to get out of it, what their questions are, what are they skeptical about, and make sure that you're answering all those points and you're packaging it in a way that is respectful of the listener's time. Like, nobody cares about you, nobody cares about your sales pitch. All they care about is how they can turn it into something that works for them. So be in service of the listener. And then I think the last thing when you give a presentation is everybody's watching you before you start. So make sure you have a pen. Make sure you have a notebook. If someone gives you a provocative thought or gives you a suggestion, have the respect to write it down. The second thing is make fucking sure your computer works. Like, make sure you know how to present on Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or Zoom. Like, understand the presentation feature. Make sure if it's a virtual presentation that your background is organized and your dog isn't barking. If it's an in-the-person presentation, make sure you're there early so that you have all of your tech set up. Nothing discredits you in a presentation more than having the technology not work or watching you get nervous and sweaty and fumbling around to get your presentation to start. You will exude confidence, you will exude expertise. People will be more likely to believe you and listen to what you have to say if you look credible getting into your presentation and getting out of your presentation. So just keep that in mind, and those are some tips. So last up, we're going to share with you what we presented at the Upfront. We have a bunch of huge announcements, some awesome stuff we're working on, some stuff I'm really particularly proud of. So we'll have a snippet of what we shared last night at Webster Hall, and then we have a longer vlog coming out which shows the making of our Upfront, so how it all came together. So that'll come out in the next week or so. When I think about brand advertising, I really think about 3 things. 1, brand advertisers or even performance advertisers, you want reach. You want people to know that you exist. The second thing you want is you want relevance. People are not, contrary to what you think, sitting around waiting for your product. You want people to have a reason to care about what you're trying to sell them. And then finally, you want conversion. You want people to buy. If people do not buy your product, you don't have jobs, and frankly, we don't have jobs either. What we can do different and better than anybody else is all three of those things. There's very few publishers, I actually can't think of one, that can deliver you reach, that can deliver you relevance, and that can deliver you conversion. And we do it with authenticity. And that's what makes Barstool Sports so different, is that authenticity always wins. This is a very, very special company. It's a unique company. It's a company that doesn't conform. It's a company that does its thing its own way. You can ask the Penn Entertainment people about that. And it's a company that's misunderstood. And what my hope is tonight is that you can understand us a little better. Because the people who do understand us are our fans. They love us, they follow us, they look to us, they watch us, they turn to us, they escape in us, and most importantly, they trust us. And so the biggest thing I would say tonight is why should you buy Barstool Sports? Why should you partner with us? It's really, really simple. We understand internet culture. Everything is internet culture right now. We understand the internet in a way that no one else does, and we make content for the internet in a way that no one else can. We have the best talent. I put our talent up against anybody else on the planet. We start trends. We create conversations. We know how to connect with millennials and Gen Z, and we do so at scale. So far this year, we have 27 billion video views on original content. We're a top 5 publisher on TikTok. People trust our voice, and when our talent, male or female, endorses something, our fans buy that. And that is the reason that we move your product. There is no one as creative as these people. There is no one who works harder than the people inside of this company, and they want to move your product. And my only ask tonight is that you give them a chance. We love our fans, we love our personalities, and we love our partners, and we want the opportunity to put all of that to work for you. So thank you for being here.
It's no accident. If you look around media right now, we have the most influential people there are. And even if an influential person isn't with us, half the time they started with us. We are the place where, like, the internet is basically talent is born from. They're kind of the first digital media company at this point, 20 years. When I started, and it's like, hey, we're a blog. People, I don't know what a blog is. We've been doing it for so long. It's, if you're a buyer, an ad agency, whatever it may be, it's the risk reward. It's like Barstool's edgy, Barstool's this, Barstool's that. We don't lose advertisers. And yeah, there may be some rocky days, but in the end, our audience always wins because they know us, they know our culture, they know our core, and they've been with us for 2 decades. So we're not slowing down, we're still growing. I remember I did a bunch of interviews like, where do you want Barstool to be? This is probably 10 years ago. And at the time, I'm like, I kind of envisioned it as an SNL. Like upcoming comedians, the first thing someone in college, like, I want to work there. We are there. Like, our hardest part is sifting through the talent to find it, but we are the spot that young, influential comedians want to be. And we continue to grow, and we need your support. And again, the fact that all these people are here shows how bad they want to work for you. Coming up with the ideas, the concepts, I mean, KB getting soaked, things like that. That can only come from crazy people's brains, and we have cornered the market on crazy, creative people. So thank you guys all for coming, and hopefully another 20 years.
Thank you for listening. Thank you to everyone who gave a rating and review. Thank you to all the partners who came to our Upfront, and most importantly, just a huge thank you to Berger and all of the people that worked to make it such a success and who are going to carry our story out into the world. So just thanks to everyone for that, and we'll see you back here next week.